and said, I want to bring music to Detroit in the San Francisco style. I was to Russ Gibb what John Sinclair was to me when I started the Fifth Estate. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew why I wanted to do it. I knew I could not do it by myself. Where do I start? Who do I recruit to help identify this community? John told me what to do and how to do it. And I was happy when Russ asked to make some recommendations. And the rest is wonderful Detroit history.
I met a guy that has to get a lot of credit for the music of the Grande, John Sinclair.
And of course, I was a leading denizen of the alternative community. We kind of thought of ourselves as rock and roll beatniks. And we lived in the interstices of this rough industrial city right around Wayne State University. We had a group called the Detroit Artists Workshop.
There were all these kids wanting to hang out somewhere that knew what was going on in San Francisco and LA, and they wanted to be part of something. So we threw the doors of the Artist Workshop open 24 hours a day. Anybody could come and hang out there. There were books, magazines to read. We even got some vending machines in there, and gave people a place to come.
We were a tiny sect of weirdos with long hair that smoked pot and took LSD and listened to rock and roll or played music or jazz, or did poetry. All of a sudden, there's this slick kind of guy, nice guy, and kind of slick, and a Thunderbird pulls up in front of the Artist Workshop on John C. Lodge and Warren.
If anybody had a vision of what could be, he did, because he would travel from New York to LA, or San Francisco rather, and back, and so he knew where the scene was.
He was a complex character, and I liked him right away. And he said what he was trying to do, and of course, we knew what he was talking about. Now, if you went to the rest of Detroit, and he said the Avalon Ballroom in San Francisco, they wouldn't have the slightest idea what you were talking about. We knew exactly what he wanted. So it was a beautiful convergence in that way. And he treated us with the respect that we felt we deserved for knowing what was going on and being willing to help him in the spirit of what a great thing this would be to have in Detroit. God damn, we never thought we'd see this.
We may not like.
Whilst Motown was putting inner-city Detroit on the world map, a group of white, working-class suburban kids, known as the Motor City 5, were also hoping to take the world by storm.
We came out of the suburbs. We all came from families that were working-class people. Like my father started at Ford's in the 1940s. Our vision was to create a music that hadn't been done before. And Chuck Berry probably was the main influence on the MC5.
I stood up on the stand with my eyes shut tight. Didn't want to see anybody. Feeling happy, having a good time. Now hey, do it all right, do it all right. Do it all right, do it all right.
England, of course, was the focal point. The British first wave had revolutionized popular culture. The Americans were struggling to keep up. You know, the big American acts all of a sudden seemed hopelessly square, you know. And then New York has always had its power, and Los Angeles, of course, is the other center, the other pole of the American recording industry. But no one ever considered Detroit as part of that equation.
they were downriver boys. They were guys who lived in the disused parts of Detroit, the industrial parts. And really, when you grew up in Detroit in those areas, you had one of two ways to go. College wasn't the option. It was usually, were you going to work the line? Were you going to work in a tool and die shop? And how many fingers were you going to lose by the end of your career?
The MC5 were managed by John Sinclair, a middle-class bohemian whose artist commune was based in the heart of the inner city.
I wanted to come here to be around the jazz players and the beatniks and the dope fiends, people who were not normal. The young white people that came here on purpose. They came here to find urban adventure, The white people had not shared in the largesse of America at this time, and yet it was right there beyond their reach. They wanted that. Whereas we were the children of people who had gotten the payoff and found that, so what? It wasn't what we were looking for. We weren't looking for a life of total safety and ease. We wanted some danger.
He had great weed. Fantastic. And he had a great record collection. Basically, we just wanted to hang out, and be cool like him.
Sinclair was kind of like an agent provocateur. He was just a guy who knew how to grab headlines, and he was a big, bearded presence, and physically, he was like a guru.
Sinclair took the MC5 from the blue-collar suburbs into the heart of the city, getting them a residency at Detroit's psychedelic Grande Ballroom.
The music scene in Detroit was born really at the Grande Ballroom. That was like our petri dish. We put the bacteria in there, we watched it multiply.
We would come to the Grande, take acid, and freak out with the MC5, It was very far out. And these kids would come here from this suburban context where they had seen the Beatles on television and they thought that was great. They would come here and this would be a place that was a whole different world. Maybe they'd get laid.
Oh, you would walk in, you would park, and it was a very dangerous neighborhood. So first off, if you made it through the doors intact was kind of an accomplishment. It was like an adult playground, perhaps. People would be dancing, and then at the back there'd be a platform. They'd be doing a light show. Lots of people of all sorts, all ages, different costumes, different kinds of dress. It was freedom.
I had a tremendous amount of atmosphere. It was the perfect venue. It was not on the street level, it was upstairs. And here was this fantastic room with these archways and a promenade around, and a stage at one end, and it was kind of big and cavernous and mysterious. And it was just full of atmosphere. And we knew that the place had been used in previous decades as a ballroom, for swing dancing and, jitterbugging, and, it was so it had all that kind of charisma about it. And here we were in the mid-'60s, bringing something completely new to it. It was our palace.
And I'm having the warmest memories of spectacular sex acts performed in various parts of this building. Very warm memories.